Hi, I'm Adrienne, the owner of Performance High, and this is Jacob Larson.
Hi there.
One of my longtime students. So I invited Jacob to come have a conversation about his whole journey through starting at Performance High and to where he is today, because I think a lot of people, they get disappointed at how long things take, you know? Mm-hmm. And you're someone who has really put in the time over the years, and you're about to turn 21 tonight at midnight.
So soon.
And so we're just gonna kind of have as wide-ranging a conversation as we end up going. It's just kind of to help anybody who's at the beginning of their journey get motivation and get inspiration and kind of get support to keep moving forward through it. So to start from the beginning, you had your first lesson with me when you were 11, almost 12.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got a lot earlier start than most of the people at Performance High.
Yeah, so I don't know, I started doing a lot of so I started taking voice lessons with you when I was 11.
And I remember your dad told me that the first moment that you found yourself interested, like you said you wanted to sing, was at a baseball game, right? And you saw I saw a girl singing the national anthem at a baseball game, and she was younger too, and I said I wanted to do that. So let's actually talk about what you're doing now.
Okay. So right now I have my main project is like a 10-piece funk and soul band. We do a lot of like 70s funk and soul music, a lot of Stevie Wonder and Earth, Wind and Fire, some Tower of Power, that kind of vibe, just like big, lots of horns. And I currently go to school. I am in the University of Colorado, Denver, studying music business and vocal performance. And I have like another 3 semesters until I graduate. That I'm in a couple other bands other than that, and working on a new record right now.
That'll be your third.
Yeah, technically my third. Second original, but and this will be like my first album, like full-length album with all originals.
Full-length, awesome.
It'll be like we're thinking like 9 or 10 songs right now.
Thinking about the kind of people who might be watching this video, which may be people who are considering taking voice lessons anywhere or at Performance High. Yeah. Maybe they're looking for the studio they want to go to. Maybe they're thinking about like I like to sing, I like music, I think I want to do something. Or maybe some people who are seeing this are people who've been taking lessons for 2 or 3 months and they have seen some improvement and maybe they're starting to plateau. So thinking about that audience, let's talk about your journey. Like, you started taking weekly voice lessons with me early on. Yeah. And what are some of the things that you found the hardest to overcome in your voice?
So it's great. I have to like think about it. It's a long time ago now. I don't know, like the first thing that pops into my head of like a big challenge was my voice change, really. Like if you have like younger students, I guess, that are going to go through a voice change or maybe are going through a voice change.
Guys who have gone through a voice change, sometimes it takes years. Yeah,
totally. To like fully develop. Yeah, and it's definitely like I totally understand what you're going through because that sucked. Yeah, and it was hard to like just like work through and like kind of like you're getting a whole new voice. Like I had to completely technically revamp and redo how I approach singing certain notes and certain and like in certain ranges and in like just in voices between like chest and head and in everywhere in between, and I'm still developing those areas now. I mean, especially for young people, like don't be discouraged and like if like you can't hit a note or you can, like whether it be low or high or you can't, or like you're in a voice change and like you're singing up a scale and all of a sudden your voice disappears because you can't like it just isn't working, because that happened to me as well. I don't know, and like just keep on working towards like set goals and like I want to be able to sing this song. Like I always wanted to sing Superstition by Stevie Wonder. That was like the song that I wanted to sing, and it seemed like so out of my comfort zone and out of where I was, and now like that's like that
it's
whole
like a go-to, right?
Yeah, that's
like
so now it's like such like a has been like a staple in like my singing parts.
You've always been really good at setting goals. Near-term goals, like things that are a path from here to there, not like I want to play at Red Rocks someday, you know, like this is what I want to do in the next 12 months. And that motivates you to keep going. And you have a work ethic like nobody I know.
It like definitely helps to stay driven, and like if something's boring to you or if something's like really, really discouraging you, then like try to flip that into a way of like being driven by that thing and being encouraged by that thing. And I don't think you should ever write music for somebody else, or like to fit a certain, like fit a certain molds or fit a certain style. Like you should write from like what makes you like what makes you want to do this and want to
rather than like trying
keep
to
going.
predict a market. Like, people are gonna like this.
I think I really like went through that with my first like my EP, my first original EP. Like we jumped through a lot of genres in that EP, I feel like, or like a lot of different like feels and styles, and at the end I wanted like these elements like of electronic, because I kind of thought that's what was like driving like the market and like driving like where things were headed. But I don't know, now I'm writing like just like it was in the 70s funk music right now, and that is just like really driving me, because that's like what like feeds my soul and like my love for music. So, and I think people will like, I think if you stick with what you really love and like you genuinely do love it, then people will recognize that, and people will realize like, wow, this is really like, they really love this, and I love it because they love it.
Justin says like people have a really finely tuned BS detector now. Like people can tell when you're not being authentic, or when you're doing something, you know, you're writing a song or making it, producing a certain style because you think that's what people are gonna like. That's what you like.
Totally. And I think that also comes with like there being so many people wanting to like perform and wanting to write music, and like and anybody can write music now, really. Like, I mean, GarageBand comes with your computer. Like I mean, anybody can like try to do what people do, but a lot of the times I think it comes off as inauthentic because they just are doing it for to like fit a mold. And you shouldn't, like, you should create your mold. You shouldn't try to fit anybody else's mold.
Love it. Now how about, let's think about other students in your class. People you like, you've gone on this the later part of your journey with, and I'm guessing that some of them, like you've met them what 2-3 years ago in some cases, and some of them have really blossomed and some of them maybe haven't. I'm just guessing.
No, that's completely accurate.
Okay. Do you see any factors that or habits or behaviors or beliefs that feed into whether someone ends up getting what they want out of this?
Definitely. And I think what, like you just said, like getting out what you want is the key, because I see so many people and like so many seniors in my program, or like they're on their last semester, like they've said like, wow, like I'm in my last semester and like I feel like this program hasn't given me anything, and I feel like music school hasn't given me anything, and I feel like I don't know where I'm going now. And I think to that I don't answer to their face, because that might be not be what they want to hear, and I don't think it's my job to tell them that. But like you get out of teaching and schooling like what you take out of it, and it's not like nobody's gonna ever like give you the answer, and nobody's ever gonna give you a pathway in this industry. And I think that's a really odd thing about the music industry in general, because like if you go to school for like psychology, like you know, like you have like certain job titles that you can go after, like you know that like I want to be a psychotherapist, or I want to be a psychiatrist, whatever. But in the music industry you don't have that. It's so broad, and like you really have to create your career path. And I think a lot of people in my program have expected a career path to be kind of handed to them, and they don't find that, because that's not going to happen. Like you have to do the groundwork, and you have to do like create your own path and create goals and structure, and really take out of the program or out of any kind of lesson program what you want out of it. Like the teachers there, the professors there as a guide and a resource and to help, but it's up to like ultimately up to the student to do that, I think. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, and I would say like try to find that and go back to your goals, and if not, then I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
No, that was great. I think, you know, you come into voice lessons, you know, at whatever age you do, with maybe a vague, maybe a specific idea of what you want to get out of it. It may be something as vague as what I had. Like when I started taking voice lessons, I was like, I always liked singing.
Yeah.
And I got laid off 2 months ago. I might as well do
yeah,
something.
That's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Wow.
And then it all led to this. And then, you know, it took years. I mean, it took, let's see, I started taking voice lessons in 2006, and I started my band in 2012. And even that was kind of left and right, what kind of style are we going to be?
Yeah.
And I feel like only now in the last year am I really figuring out who I am as a musician in the industry and as myself.
Yeah.
So it's 2019, so that's 13 years.
Yeah, that's totally. And
now that may sound really intimidating to anyone who's like, I'm in year one.
Well, I don't know.
But there's successes all along the way.
Yeah.
You know, you keep looking back and thinking, oh, I can't believe how little I knew last year or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, each year you just make, especially at the beginning, you make so much progress so fast.
Yeah, I think that like self-reflection really helps you like move forward. Like you have to fail, and you have to, well, not fail, I guess. You have to learn and experience before you can know what you want to do. And I'm not saying that like you have to like know what you want to do right off the bat, obviously, because I don't think anybody really does.
You figure it out by trying things and by getting into it and doing it.
Like you have to keep on trying things and keep on trying different paths and different ways, and maybe that's like genres or who you're working with or who you're writing with, or I mean,
it takes a while to find the people
too.
That you really connect with.
It's definitely people too, because there's a lot of incredible people in the music industry, but there's also a lot of not so incredible people that maybe don't know what their path is either, and are worried that they're never going to find their path. And I think you need to surround yourself with driven and positive people, and people that want the same, like maybe like not like want the same goals as you, but like maybe have the same interests and
probably I'd say the same values.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I think that's one thing that makes Performance High and the Showcase Band successful and run so well. Yeah. Is that we have similar values.
I agree.
I mean, not necessarily like the same political beliefs, although we probably do. But
you
know, values like respect and understanding the journey. I mean, like in showcase rehearsals, which you know you haven't done in a long time, but let's see, how many of the musicians are teachers? At least 3 or 4 of us are also teachers, and so we understand that it's not going to be perfect and it's not going to be professional, because we're in learning times here.
Yeah.
So
because I know like the first I have not done like nothing's ever been like perfect. I feel like that I've done. You know? Like it's always, like there's always something in there. I mean, there's always room for growth.
All these things you've learned, where like if you're looking up at that mountain of like I want to do this thing, I want to be a rock star, or I want to have my own band, or whatever your thing is, you might look up at this mountain like, oh my gosh, this thing is enormous. I don't know how to play an instrument. I don't know what it means to chart a song. I don't know any musicians to form a band with. I don't know, you know, what the modes are. I don't know how I have a break in my voice, all these things. So I'm thinking of like all the things that you have learned from zero since I've known you.
Yeah, I mean, like learning all those things is like taking it kind of like one bite at a time.
Yeah.
And like maybe like when you're looking up at that mountain, but like take it step by step.
Yeah.
Because it's not all just going to appear with you. Especially finding the musicians that, like what we were just talking about, that have your same values and that like get you too, because I've worked with a lot of musicians, and maybe like more than I even like want to say that I've worked with, but like the core, like the group of people that I'm with right now, I feel like everybody understands each other, and we all have the same values and the same like similar work ethic, and that definitely helps.
So patience. The thing, you know, this stuff takes a while.
And just like not comparing yourself, like if you're like a 40 or 50 year old, don't like comparing yourself to an 18-year-old isn't going to do you any good. Like you're not going to be on the same path, and that's not a bad thing, like, or a good thing.
These days it's your own, like you said, it's your own path.
I mean, everybody, like anybody can play music no matter how old or how young you are. And I think that's really something that I've discovered through like songwriting too, because even because like the people that I've always worked with in my band have always been considerably older than me, and like the people that I've written with have always been older than me as well, and so like once you realize that like you do have a voice, or no pun intended, but like when like you do have a voice, and like you like your thoughts and your ideas are just as valid as anybody else's when it comes to songwriting, then because it's coming from you, so that's not an incorrect answer.
You can't be wrong.
Like,
if you're being real.
Right. And I think I've definitely struggled with that a lot. Like, I don't know if this idea is like good enough. I don't know if this lyric is good enough, and it hasn't been in a lot of the times. But like evolving and realizing and I think evolution is like a huge thing with songwriting. That's something that I've definitely experienced.
And that's a lifelong thing.
Yeah. And so there's some parts where it's not very fun of like, because of like my first EP, like original EP, like I went back and rewrote lyrics to like every one of those songs like a few times and just like kept on critiquing because I realized that I was evolving as a songwriter as the songs, as we were writing and as we were producing.
You were what, like 15 or so?
Yeah, like 16 I think when we were, or maybe 15 when like we started writing. I wrote my first EP with a guy named Corey Baker, who's an amazing musician and songwriter, and it was great to be able to work with him. And like he just always had amazing ideas, and like that, I think that definitely helped me evolve and just like living life and like realizing like the person that I wanted to be definitely helped with my songwriting as well. But like I had to evolve my songwriting as time went on.
So is there any last thing that you'd like to say to anyone who made it through this long video? I mean, I'm going to edit this down some, but in terms of, you know, someone who's at the beginning of their journey, whether they know what it is or not, they just have this spark, this idea that they like singing and they want to see what happens. Like, would you have any advice?
I mean, it never hurts to try something. And it really, I mean, well, depending on what it is, but in terms of music and like singing or songwriting, it never hurts to try, because anything that you ever try is just going to become like something that you've learned in the past. And I think, and I mean, like we talked about, like setting goals, whether they be short-term or short-term definitely, and long-term, and taking it one bite at a time, and not like not getting overwhelmed with needing to feeling the need to do things faster or a different way because you're seeing somebody else doing them a different way.
Yes.
Like
I think actually I really resonate with that, because I get impatient, and I'm like, there's all these things that I want to get from here to there, and I feel like I want them all to happen next week. But music has to mature in the same way that we have to mature. Like we mature along with the music we're learning to make.
Absolutely.
So time is a factor.
Totally. Yeah. So I mean, like, set goals and try things, and I mean, you'll find what works for you and what your niche is, and what like feeds your soul and what you would like to do in this industry, because it's a huge industry, and it's a lot bigger than people think it is. But then it's on the other hand, it's also small. And like, don't be afraid to talk to people, and I think making connections is a huge benefit to somebody, especially if like they're trying to start a band, for example, like going to different jams, or connecting with people on even like social media, whatever you think about social media, like it still allows you to connect with somebody that you have never met before, or maybe like have only heard about, and it gives you an in, and like just whatever you can do to talk to people and see what other people are doing, and if they would be a cool person to work with and share similar values and interests as you.
Well, thanks for taking the time.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Hope that you found this helpful, found some gems. I sure think that there were a lot of gems sparkled in that whole conversation.
Yeah, definitely hope so. Yeah, thank you, Adrienne.
Happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you, yes. Time has come. I can make beer runs for band rehearsal now.
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, I know. It's been marked on the calendar.